secret affidavit, a dismissed spy chief, and a prime minister accused of weaponizing Israel's most powerful intelligence agency. Ronen Bar says he was fired for rejecting a pledge of loyalty not to the nation, but to Netanyahu himself. Now the country faces a constitutional crisis. Israel's internal intelligence agency, Shin Bet Director Ronen Bar, launched a scathing allegation towards Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Bar claimed that he was dismissed by the Israeli PM for refusing to act on politically motivated demands, including spying on anti-government protesters and pledging personal loyalty to the Prime Minister over the judiciary. In an explosive 31-page affidavit submitted to Israel's Supreme Court on April 21st, Bar alleged that Netanyahu's move to remove him from office stemmed from personal and political interests rather than professional grounds. Bar is the first Shin Bet chief in Israel's history to be dismissed while in office. His affidavit, parts of which remain classified for national security reasons, offers a detailed account of the breakdown in his relationship with Netanyahu and the events leading to his controversial dismissal. Among the most serious allegations in the document is the claim that on multiple occasions, Netanyahu instructed Bar to use the Shin Bet to monitor Israeli citizens participating in protests against the government. Bar also claimed that Netanyahu attempted to extract a pledge of personal loyalty to the Prime Minister over the High Court of Justice, a demand that he categorically rejected in a constitutional crisis. "My loyalty is to the law and the court, not to a politician." Furthermore, Bar alleged that pressure was exerted on him to sign a document that would have helped Netanyahu avoid publicly testifying in his ongoing corruption trial, that a request Bar refused. He said such demands were often made at the tail end of meetings in a deliberate effort to prevent any official record of the conversations, that it was clearly intended to prevent any record of the conversation. To this day, the reason for my firing is not clear to me. But the developments that took place over the last few months indicate one thing. At some point late last year, the decision to fire me was consolidated. It was not rooted in any professional metric, but out of an expectation by Netanyahu that I would be personally loyal to him in the days leading up to the affidavit. Submission reports suggested that Bar had faced intense pressure from within the government to withhold the document. The Prime Minister's office has issued a strongly worded rebuttal to the explosive affidavit filed by the Shin Bet chief, accusing him of misrepresentations and serious operational failures surrounding the Hamas attack on October 7, 2023. In a statement released late on April 21st, officials from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office denied many of the claims made in Bar's sworn testimony, calling it riddled with falsehoods and alleging that it obscures Bar's own failings as head of Israel's internal security agency. Ronen Bar's affidavit is riddled with falsehoods and highlights his failures. Bar claims that on the night of October 7th, he woke up the entire system. However, he conveniently omits the fact that he did not alert the most critical figures, the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister. Had he done so, the massacre might have been prevented. Bar states that he instructed the Prime Minister's military secretary to be alerted at 5:15 a.m. In reality, his chief of staff, Gomi, contacted the military secretary at 6:30 a.m., just minutes before Hamas launched its attack. At that point, Bar had been in possession of information suggesting a possible attack for more than 3 hours. This timeline confirms the position of multiple government ministers. Bar failed catastrophically on October 7th. He concealed what he said just 2 days before the massacre on October 5th. That failure alone warrants his dismissal. Leaders of 4 Israeli opposition parties have called for an emergency session of the Knesset following the release of a sworn affidavit by Shin Bet head Ronen Bar, which they claim exposes a threat to national security posed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's actions. The affidavit, filed on April 21st, has sparked fierce debate, with opposition figures alleging that Netanyahu has misused the Shin Bet to monitor Israeli citizens, undermine democracy, and obstruct the investigation into the Qatar Gate scandal. According to their statements, Barr's affidavit reveals conduct by Netanyahu that places our future and existence in danger. In a series of joint statements, the opposition leaders, including Yair Lapid from Yesh Atid, Benny Gantz from National Unity, Avigdor Lieberman from Yisrael, Beit Nu, and Yair Golan from Democrats, demanded the Knesset, Israel's House of Representatives, be convened urgently to address the developments. Lapid, the leader of Yesh Atid, went further in a video statement saying that Barr's affidavit proves Netanyahu is a danger to Israel's security and should no longer serve as prime minister. For my sake, Netanyahu attempted to use the Shin Bet to monitor Israeli citizens, dismantle democracy, and bury the Qatar Gate. Investigate Shin if Netanyahu appoints the next Shin Bet chief. That IT poses a significant danger to the state of Israel and all its citizens. Benny Gantz, leader of the National Unity Party, echoed Lapid's concerns, describing the affidavit as brave and accusing Netanyahu's government of fostering dark and anti-democratic conduct. In a post on social media, Gantz underlined the urgency of establishing a state commission of inquiry and called for early elections to prevent further deterioration. The affidavit has also drawn criticism from members of Netanyahu's coalition government. Leaked Communications Minister Shlomo Carr. He dismissed Barr's affidavit, pointing out that his term as Shin Bet chief had ended with a unanimous government decision. Ronen Bar submitted an affidavit to the court today, but forgot one small detail. He is no longer the head of the Shin Bet. His term ended with a legal and unanimous government decision. Any attempt to cling to his position while trampling the law and relying on an unauthorized interim order is a scandal. There is no greater danger than a security chief who refuses to accept the decision of the authority above him and instead stands as an emissary of the legal bureaucracy and the Kaplanist movement. Governance is a duty, not a suggestion. Barr must vacate his position now before he again endangers Israel's security. Other coalition figures, including Education Minister Yoav Kish, MK Tali Gottlieb, MK Avishai Boran, and Diaspora Affairs Minister Amichai Chekli, also criticized Barr's actions. Ronen Bar, born in 1965, and Ray Horvat served as the head of Israel's security service from 2021 until his dismissal in March 2025. Bar began his career in Israel's elite CIA at Mount Call Unit and later earned degrees in political science and public administration from Tel Aviv University and Harvard. He joined Shin Bet in 1993 and rose through the ranks, eventually becoming director under Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. Known for his operational expertise, Barr's leadership faced intense scrutiny following the October 7th Hamas attack, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government accusing him of critical intelligence failures. Barr's dismissal has triggered a constitutional crisis in Israel, highlighting tensions between the government and the country's institutions. Meanwhile, Israel continues to wage war against Hamas in Gaza and against Hezbollah in Lebanon.